Politics is strange, of course, all over the world, not just in Russia, not just between Russia and Ukraine friends, but everywhere in the world. It's quite strange because it's as if they're not even people, but rather like some children playing with these artificial intelligences, with artificial games. And so, on December 30th, 2025, just one day before New Year's, a CIA drone, it struck a pier on the waterfront in Venezuela. And CNN reported this to us, citing sources familiar with the situation. If the information about the strike is confirmed, this will be the first time the US has attacked a target on the territory of this country. But wow, accusing a CIA drone of carrying out strikes on the waterfront. As CNN sources clarified, the US government received information that a remote pier on the coast of Venezuela was being used by a group to store drugs. But now, if you need to bomb something, just say there are drugs there and people will go along with it. That's how it seems to those in power at the top. Yes, last week Donald Trump apparently mentioned this very operation in one of his interviews. On December 26th, he said that the US had destroyed a certain major facility from which ships were arriving. But today, we're already hearing that Trump is withdrawing troops from Chicago, Los Angeles, and Portland. What's going on? What troops? Who's withdrawing from where? It's December 31st, 2025. At night. The announcement was made at 11:04 p.m. Naturally, we only read about it today, because today is January 1st, 2026. On Wednesday, US President Donald Trump announced that his administration is withdrawing the National Guard from Chicago, Los Angeles, Portland, but added in his social media post that federal forces would return if the crime rate rises. We are withdrawing the National Guard from Chicago, Los Angeles, and Portland, despite the fact that crime in these cities has dropped significantly thanks to the presence of these wonderful patriots. And only because of that. That's what Trump wrote. He's kind of, a bit eccentric overall. We don't know if it's really Trump or not, or if it's just a costume. In my opinion, it's a costume. What do you think? I mean, maybe it's a double or someone else. Does it really matter to us? Many news outlets are already shouting today that it was artificial intelligence, not President Putin, who gave the New Year's address. That, for example, in place of the president of Kazakhstan, it was also artificial intelligence speaking. These are foreign media outlets. That's what they write. That's not me saying it. Read for yourselves, friends. If you have access, read it. And Trump, well, he's strange too, right? That's not really Trump either. They all gathered somewhere in the magnificent land of El Dorado, which Putin built for them. They all built it together. It was built with everyone's money, and now that's where they are. They need, so to speak, to clean up our world, to purify it. I don't know from what, but from us, from you and me. Who else? The world needs to be cleaned of us. That's why they all just packed up and left. They went to the other end of the world. And we are left here to reap the fruits of their actions. But it's not us who are fighting, it's them. It's profitable for them. They make huge amounts of money from it. These are the fruits of their actions. And we'll just have to endure it. Some new bombings, probably, yes. The governments of the 3 cities in the United States and the corresponding states are controlled by the Democrats. They accuse the Trump administration of abusing federal powers and deliberately exaggerating isolated incidents of violence at mostly peaceful protests in order to justify the deployment of troops. Trump stated that sending National Guard troops or even army units to the major cities was necessary to fight crime and protect federal property and personnel from protesters. We may return, perhaps in a completely different and stronger form, when crime starts to rise again. In recent months, Trump also deployed troops to Memphis, New Orleans, Washington, these cities The president did not mention them in his post. At the very least, federal troops continue to patrol the streets of the capital, according to BBC correspondents. What I want to say is this. The situation is bad. And of course, in the cities of the United States, people began to protest against Trump against his senseless policies. There, the entire cultural community, the cultural stratum of the population, basically stood up against Trump. In Russia, for murder, for the cultural stratum of the population, I mean the one that's left. But in the United States, everyone spoke out. And that's why Trump had to move troops from one city to another. You see, from Memphis, he sent them where? To another place. From New Orleans, too, he sent them to other cities. Now he's pulling them out from there because the situation has escalated. If the troops stay there, there will be direct clashes between Trump's troops and the population. And what does that mean? It's elementary. These states can file an application to secede from the United States of America. And that's it. They can simply go ahead and secede, leave. They don't owe anything to the United States. They have a common policy by agreement according to signed documents. That's why they can leave. If they don't agree with such, let's say, foolish policies of Trump, in some cases, let's say this policy works well. And honestly, thanks to Trump for many of his actions. Some of his actions are very much the right ones. But in some cases, like the war between Ukraine and Russia, Trump is sometimes for Putin, then for Zelensky, then for Putin, then for Zelensky, and so on. He hates Zelensky and literally kicks him out of his Oval Office. Remember? They weren't even given breakfast. They were just kicked out because Trump said so. Zelensky made him angry. And sometimes you see he's completely for Zelensky, against Putin. Putin says, I was attacked. Today, 91 drones targeted my residence. And Trump says he thinks that's a lie, that it didn't happen. That he believes Zelensky, who denies everything. You see, this is, of course, a kind of silly politics. It's needed in order to keep the war going. The war will go on. There's no way around it. We won't escape it. That's why Trump, too, he's not acting on his own. But this is business. Whoever they want, they put in power. Russia played a big role in bringing Trump back to power. But there's no point in talking about it because why try to prove anything to anyone? We understand this. And just because we might foam at the mouth trying to prove something to someone, it won't make things any easier for us. That's for sure. But it's easier for Trump. And honestly, Trump couldn't care less about what you and I think. He's sitting in the land of El Dorado with Putin somewhere in the Arctic while his doubles are running around here. Well, they are trying to deal with us, the disobedient ones, and even more so with American residents. They are freer than Russians, of course. I am Tanya Karatsuba Sidburhan. Today is the 1st of January, 2026. Happy New Year, friends. Good news to you this year. I wish you all the best. Health is the most important thing. Clean your feathers, tidy up your home, and clear your thoughts as well. Watch my videos and support the channel. Happy New Year.